Yo, Paper Moon, how's it going? What's up, what's up? How's it going? Wait, where is my... There you go. Yo, what's up? How's it going? Hey, bro. Ba. Oh, so I'm lucky that you're here. That's awesome. Yeah, I just posted it. Like, I wanted to post everything earlier, but there was so much stuff coming into play, so to speak. I just quickly need to make a IG post. So how are you doing, folks? How was your week? How's everything going? I see you just commented on a short. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You just saw the post too. Okay. I mean, then it's kind of like, hey, I should do that more often. Perfect. 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 Okay, I'll let the world know stream is up, and then how do I do that? Oh no, not real. I want to do story. Bam. How was your week, folks? How was your weekend so far? Jesus, this phone. Hey Juan, how's it going? How are you, my friend? How are you? Oh, I haven't done any drawing today. So, oh, you have a test tomorrow. What type of test? On Sunday? Oh, I guess you're in a different time zone, I guess. What type of test do you have? Oh, you have a guest from Namibia. Okay. So not much drawing then, I guess. Well, times come. Those times come back. Is your comic project coming along then? By the way, why is this camera not... Ah, better. Zoom in. How far are you with your project? Oh, hey Kevin, thanks for the sub. And hey Xerion, thanks for the follow. And Exosis Adapt, thanks for the follow. Okay, let me get this up. Life is going, I guess. Life is going. So let's see, can you folks see that? Yes, awesome. Okay, let's start easy maybe. So tell me, like, what else you folks are doing? I'm really sorry about the inconsistency with the streams at the moment. It's like whenever I want to stream, something else comes up. And I know you all deserve better. Figuring out the better workflow? Okay. Wow, 9 pages already is pretty a lot. That's pretty a lot. So since a week I'm hanging on Brushpen. Not sure why, but I really went back into brush penning. Even though after my big piece last time I said to myself I'd rather use a brush, but I don't know. Maybe my ego. Couldn't take it that I failed. Good things have a Weile. Hey Björn, how's it going? How are you doing? Looking forward to our call very soon. I love the input you do. Keep it up, please. You went back into writing novels? I didn't know you would write novels, bro. What type of novels do you write? By the way, I haven't started with filming for the Brushpen episode. I didn't know if you wanted to look into the script again or if you think it's good enough. I think I have like 2 more things I want to add to the episode, but yeah, will probably be kind of like the direction I want to go for it. So yeah, tell me everyone. Tell me what are you up to? What are you doing? What are you drawing? It's funny, like when we haven't streamed for maybe 2 weeks or so, I really miss the community. Yeah, send me some pages on Discord. Thank you. Fantasy? Okay, what type of fantasy genre do you write? I think this one I didn't add anything. I forgot to check the other half of the script though. Ah yeah, no worries, bro. Yeah, I seen that. A lot of great suggestions, some a bit over the top, so I think like we need to be careful with some of the funny jokes, you know. How can someone actually develop their imagination? Well, funny you've asked. I just made a short about it. You know. So yeah, imagination, from just my personal experience, to develop that is a very painful process, especially when you have very high expectations. So first thing first, don't have any expectation, okay? Don't expect to draw the same as with the reference, but never completely discard the reference. The reference is absolutely crucial. For every professional artist, references are absolutely necessary. It's a thing that infuses the idea. This is how we sell an idea. So unfortunately, the art industry community thingy has this selling of drawing from imagination as it's the new mecca, right? And I can understand, because it's an important thing to practice, because we haven't practiced it very much, and it's not a real academic thing. But I also want to say that the approach or the expectation of drawing something from imagination, such as Kim Young-ji did it, is completely off. So to develop it, it's actually to start as simple as imagining rotating a box, going from that box to making the box a book, and then just increasing difficulty. So if you obviously try to draw things from imagination, which you do not understand, it's even harder than this. So you have to be smart and you have to be fair to yourself. So when you try to draw a figure from imagination, but you do not 100% understand anatomy, you will fail. And you will just, what's the opposite of encouragement? Discourage you. You basically just discourage you. So that is really important to understand. That can be a very painful process. But on the flip side, it also can be amazing. It can be a lot of fun. Because you can try to draw something and it maybe turned even better out than you expected it. So yeah. So start simple, start with boxes. When it comes to faces, like I drew so many faces, sometimes just little doodles, you know, and I can show you like that sometimes you do stuff like you just draw a face and then you draw it from a different angle, you know, and then it's kind of like, okay, I understand this angle, but something is completely off here, right? And then you get aggressive and you try to draw something else. And it's just a constant, it's just trying, you know, trying to understand. And sometimes you're on the phone, you know, you're just doodling, you're not really trying it. But sometimes you try it a bit more and you think about, okay, what can I give this person? What is the story behind? And for example, like, let's say you want to draw a pirate, like, what should I give the pirate? What should the pirate wear? What should the pirate have? Like, these little things, like your box eventually became a sword, you know, and it eventually became an earring and it became a belt and so on and so on and so on. I hope this kind of like answers your question. So yeah. Super important skill to learn, absolutely. Very painful skill to learn, absolutely. Very rewarding skill to learn, absolutely. Hey Umbrella, welcome to the stream. One sec, why is the music stopped? I feel like drawing boxes just makes you good at drawing boxes, lol. I've drew hundreds upon hundreds of boxes in different perspectives, and now I can draw boxes good, but I did nothing else. Yeah, so that means you just did not went the next step. So the next step, obviously, right, because like drawing boxes, or even let's say draw more complex geometric forms, like if you would let's say cut off a corner of a box, or if you would bevel an edge, right? Those things are technically very easy to draw and very fast to learn. But of course, the important step is going from that box to the next difficulty. So how about you try to draw your sketchbook from imagination? And you try to be very delicate about what makes your sketchbook, you know? Like, where is here a corner? Where do we have overlaps? What makes this looking like a book? You know, this is very close to a flat box. Can you rotate this? Can you put it vertically on a table? You know, that is really the question. And then just drawing a table and putting that on the table, and then maybe the next thing you try to draw that on the table is a glass, right? Next to that box. And you already have a win because you successfully drew a sketchbook on a table with a glass from your imagination, right? And of course, you need to do the next step then, right? I think sometimes we jump too fast. Also, what is great, by the way, this is completely out of context, but this kind of like key figure here, you see how simple this is, right? This is very geometrically, but it's actually perfect trying to learn this, to draw this from imagination, because it's so simple, right? It is so simple because it's round, and this is nothing else than geometric form, and it's stiff, you know, it's not posed, but it has some character. So I want to say you're not a failure. We all have been there. I want you to go the next step, do the next step, because this is freaking great. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's the rush. It's the excitement to have the freedom of the fuck, I can draw whatever I want, you know? I can imagine this scene, I can imagine that scene. And for me right now, I'm at a point where I can build those scenes, but I also want to honestly say my anatomy sometimes just falls apart, like here, because I'm like, obviously Brushpen is very difficult medium, right? But like, look at those legs, right? I was like, oh wow, I kind of like the face doesn't look too shitty. And then I have some story, nice, and I was hyped about the story. Then it came to the leg, and then like whack, you know. So even the idea just putting him on some like sacks, or her sitting on a chest, you know, on a box or something, that helps to sell the 3-dimensional look. But I mess up the face, I mess up completely this anatomy. I don't want to look at the hands, you know. Because of course, the more you try to draw, the more complex. But this is the thing that people sometimes, I never want to say everyone, but a lot of people, they just forget that. Of course, it's meant to be challenging. If it's not challenging, you will not get better, and you just will not learn. But we all do it because we love this process. So, I mean, who cares if it's hard, right? Nothing in this world that's really worth it to a person is not hard, right? Even I would draw that leg better, bro. What did you do, JK? Ah, okay. Just joking, I guess. It makes a lot of sense. I'm happy. If you have more questions, Umbrella, just hit me up, you know? If you want, if there's anything on your mind, just let me know. Yeah, I think that the biggest enemy in learning those things, also becoming a concept artist, becoming a professional artist, all that stuff, the biggest enemy is our expectation, you know? We're expecting too much. I mean, I'm very blessed with all my students because everyone I've taught had a realistic expectation. I would say I never had someone coming in and saying like, I'm the best and I expect to reach this goal in that short amount of time. But sometimes it's not maybe the expectation, it's just what we would like to do, but we do not realize that it's actually super hard to learn. It's the same as like if you try to draw as Kim Young-ji. Like first you need to understand this man drew this way, and he said it very, very often, a lot of times. He drew for decades, okay? A decade is 10 years, and he did it for decades. So multiple decades. So then I ask you, have you drawn for decades like this? No? Okay, go figure then. So yeah. But I mean, ego is really the thing. Like same for me. I think it's also like for anyone who worked professionally. You have like this expectation, you know, just like, oh, this has to be as good as its client work. But no, bro, if you learn something new, everything you learn in the beginning that's new, it's hard. It's normal. Like, and I think if you would try to learn something and you would be really good right from the get-go, maybe you do not appreciate the growth you have, and you do not really, how can you say, you do not really appreciate what you can do, you know? Hard work always beats talent. Hola Boris, ¿cómo estás, señor? How are you doing, my friend? I want to say the great difference between a brush pen and an ink pen, just like a normal ballpoint pen, you can fill a page with so much ink so much faster. That is really a blessing, I want to say. Also, when I look in my sketchbook folder, then when I put them next to each other, you can really see like the brush pen drawings, they just pop out. And sometimes when you have those happy accidents, when you kind of like use the side of the brush, press a bit more, and then you have this dry brush effect. It's just really, really enjoying. But I also understand now, like, less is more, and you have different options, right? I could take the side of the brush and I could darken everything, but this is kind of like the slimmest ultra fine pen I've found, and it's actually really cool to shade the drawing with lines using the brush pen. So kind of like the same way as I would do it with a ballpoint pen. It has like this clean look. And I think if you draw like simple things, you get away with this. Unless you draw like a scene with more depth and stuff, then you have to add more values. Boris, my friend, what are you doing? How was your week? Sorry that I didn't stream earlier. Shame on me. I hope you had a wonderful week. You were bored without me. Oh, you're the sweetest. Busy with internship and master thesis. Oh, good luck, bro. Good luck. I believe in you. Actually, so interesting how much depth and substance you can add just by additional lines to a certain area. Like, this really shows you how there's really like a different, like a microcosm of art inside of like those ink drawings of professional inkers who do like comic book stuff. And everyone has kind of like their own style. It's very interesting. Anyone doing any concept art stuff, any designs or anything? Except my students. Sorry, I actually can zoom closer. I would if I could, but I can't. It's so warm under this softbox light. I'm starting to sweat. You can show me some things design related, not art design related. Yes, show me. I want to see. I would not ask if I wouldn't be interested. Also, one thing I noticed by in the process of learning from imagination, like drawing from imagination, is that pattern recognition. I always talk about pattern recognition as a tool of learning, right? But I think especially in trying to draw from imagination, it's even more important. So, for example, if you would try to draw a beard in a certain angle, right? So top down, like if you drew it multiple times, you start to remember the specific shape the beard is making that you try to do. So learning and really remembering it becomes more important. You still can't get the T project out of your head? Dude, then finish it. Finish it. The T project was awesome, Boris. Like, also you spend so much time crafting the idea, the story, the background and everything, so why not finishing it? And maybe after your thesis, everything gets a bit easier, you have a bit more time, a bit more mental capacity, and then you can attack it again, you know? Would be really sad if you wouldn't finish it. But I mean, I understand the struggle of taking an older project and trying to open up Pandora's box again in a way. Can be a bit too much sometimes. Especially if it's kind of like very old and you get the sense that your skill developed and your eye developed and you don't like majority of it. Then you also would need to have like the energy to rework a lot of this stuff. Fatih, by the way, I think I will record the episode tomorrow, just so you know. So if everything goes well, I will upload it tomorrow. But I also need to upload all the B-roll footage. And that will take a while because it's all 4K, I think. I have a question. Does someone here sometimes re-watches old movies and feel like that there's a time for some movie that it's kind of like a life cycle, you know, where you have this specific movie that you always watch again and again. You know, like for me, it's like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, for example. Then comes this time where I just have the feeling of, I just want to watch the whole trilogy, or I need to watch it, or Matrix, or Fifth Element. I'm gonna work on the end of the week. Yeah, no stress, bro. I just wanted to let you know. You know, I don't want to put any pressure or stress. I just wanted to let you know that I put it up, and from the point when everything is up, I'm going to work on the next one. Hey Rio, how you doing? I didn't know you were here. Haven't watched you in a while. I've been busy, but nice to see your sketch. Thank you so much. Nice to see you as well. John Wick. Oh wow. John Wick, we're talking about John Wick 1, great movie. I mean, also some of the other movies are great. But it's funny. Like, okay, what is the movie where you have like the most nostalgic, emotional connection to it? Is that something like it? Oh, the music site crashed. Ab durch die Hecke? Dein Ernst, Bro? I like Lidl and Gym. Good combination for your gains. Ip Man movie. Okay, that's also a good one. But I feel like there's kind of like this age gap between us. For me, it's The Abyss. Ah, interesting. How old were you when you watched Abyss for the first time, Umbrella? It's the same for me as like something like because I talked with my girlfriend about it yesterday, and for her, for example, it's the Blade movies. So like she watched the Blade series like so many times in her life, and for her it's still kind of like one of the most nostalgic and emotional connections she remembers, as like watching these like also kind of like more mature movies as a kid. And I think that's really what it is. I'm kind of like wondering if whenever you have an emotional connection to a movie, if it's kind of like, okay, this has such a big impact because I'm a child, and it's kind of like the first emotional understanding of like a love story or hate or violence or whatever. Or is it, I don't know, is it because movies in that certain time are just better than the movies today? I mean, there's still great movies today, but I think I'm kind of like, I think you get my point. I mean, yeah, of course, Jackie Chan, Kill Bill, oh yeah, great. Men in Black, absolutely. Nachts im Museum. That's so interesting, you have a really interesting taste. Star Wars gives me hardcore nostalgia. I actually watched them, yeah. "10 years before I was born." Blade is awesome too. How old are you, Umbrella? I mean, for me it's also Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Pearl. So the first one. Like, I mean, I love pirates and I love the whole like concept, right? But this really like the whole vibe and everything. Also from a compositional standpoint, the movie's just really well made. Storytelling wise, timing, music, everything is so good. Okay. Now I have a different question. What movie do you think or would you recommend that's not known a lot by many people? Everyone needs to drop one. I would say for me it's definitely Memories of a Murder, which is a Korean movie. I watched it, I think, 5 years ago, and it really flashed me. Like, it was really, really good. Ooh, I love this earring. I think I'm just jealous of pirates, you know? They can wear weird earrings, parrots on their shoulder, no one would say anything. If I go on the street with a parrot on my shoulder, people think I'm gaga. Well, okay, I mean, I'm in Berlin, so it's not that uncommon that someone walks around with a parrot on their shoulder. I guess. I don't know. Wait, I have to scroll up. 30. Ah, okay, so you 4 years younger than me. Okay. Well, then I understand. Paris, Texas. Hi, Robin. Welcome to stream. Paris, Texas? Let me write this down. I don't know this one. I want to Google this later. Paris, Texas. Rambo First Blood, maybe. Okay. Indiana Jones, yeah. Knight Rider, yeah, okay, Knight Rider is also good. Memories of a Murder is great. Saw the Devil, another, yeah. Also, talking about Korean movies, obviously they produce a lot of great movies and TV series, but also Parasite, if you haven't watched it. Roundabout Midnight, bro, really, really good one. Ending was so unsatisfying. The Gods Must Be Crazy. I remember this one. Yeah, I mean, cowboys and pirates are just cool. 100%. Can we kick the stream bot? Oh, I hate when this happens. Oh, let's all just ignore the stream bot, okay? I apologize. Don't know where these thingies always come from. You've watched Parasite? Yeah. Most creepiest scene when the dude goes to at night to the fridge. This is just insane. Okay, let's. Hey Rufus, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Okay, let's try to draw something a bit more out of the comfort zone. Bit harder. Maybe just add also a bit from our own imagination to it. Nice, nice. There will be more. There will be more. I will just move my paper a bit. So you can see more of the paper. Because I think I need a bit more space now. Okay, yeah. You know what, let's try. Okay, we do one more kind of like figure from here maybe. Okay, sorry, I just need to check that it's still on screen. Okay. So interesting thing that I always remember what Kim Young-ji said in his course. He said the first line is always the most important one because it dictates the perspective. That's something that always sticks in my head whenever I start with the drawing, because it's obviously true 100%, because wherever you start it dictates how whatever it is that you draw is placed in the perspective. Do you folks see this? Yes, okay. Hey, Bully P. Hey Janusz, your videos have been helping me, especially for a beginner. Thank you so much for saying it. I really appreciate you letting me know. Because sometimes I'm a bit living in my own bubble. And I'm living in the void, so to speak, you know, like you produce videos and then maybe one video gets a lot of views, one gets less, but of course, like I try not to be too biased when I get comments, because you not only get positive comments, and I always keep in front of me why I'm actually started this journey here and why I enjoy teaching. But this type of feedback I always very much appreciate. So thank you. Can I zoom in this? Yeah. Thank you so much. I do my best. Thank you so much. And you also keep up the good work. Keep up practicing, having fun. I just talked with someone about like the pathway of starting this journey, like becoming an artist and like working in games and all that, because it's a big step, right? When you decide to go down this pathway. But hey, when I think about it, it's still the best decision I made in life ever. Still, like trying to become an artist, trying to become a concept artist, working in games. Like the commitment, of course, you need to have, and the discipline and the work you have to put in, and it's really, really hard to achieve that, right? Because you have to be consistent, you have to keep up the quality, show people you can produce something that is worth you get paid. But achieving it is, of course, amazing, but having the skill set and realizing the freedom you have, you just get chills. So it's the best job in the world. And I would always do the same. I would do the same again and again. I would still go down this route. I would still try to do it again if I would have to choose again. So yeah, whatever makes you create, whatever makes you go down this pathway, just keep on doing it. Just keep on going. And share your creations also. That's also really important. I had a career talk last week, and this person was very anxious about sharing their work. But I also said, like, yeah, but when do you want to start share the work? Yeah, when it's good enough. But when is it good enough? Is it really good enough, or is it never good enough? And then the person realized very quick, okay, I need to start sharing my work. And he just started to share his work, which is amazing. And you see, I also share my ugly drawings on Instagram, because I believe it's really important to also show you that it's not everything is perfect that you create, and it's more important that you create, that you keep on creating, and you always keep in mind why. Why are we creating? Because then you will never stop. And I'm also sorry to say, but if you get afraid and anxiety because of AI and stuff, maybe this industry, as talking about the entertainment industry, is nothing for you. Because if you really have a purpose of being a designer, creating and working in entertainment, then you will never have to fear, and you will understand that there is nothing to fear of. Thank you, Bully. Appreciate you. get in the other brush pen. I don't know how full it is with ink. I hope it's a bit dry. No, not really, but we can start to ink a bit of the areas out here. Like if you darken an area with a brush pen, you can either way handle it as an ambient occlusion, you know, so where two objects block each other, or you could even like do like a brush pen effect where you press the side and you use it as a cast shadow. But you have to be very delicate with it, because you really get a feel for how much ink you're applying, and sometimes it's a bit unpredictable. Because you think it's dry, but then there comes more ink out for whatever reason. So yeah, but you have a lot of options with the brush pen. My biggest fear is that when I finally steal Janusz job, he punched me. Oh, Boris. My biggest fear is that you ever run out of jokes like this. Because then my life will be so boring and gray. And I think if I am your biggest fear, you have nothing to worry about in your life. That's how serious I take myself. What do you think about a good drawing posture? Hey, short art online too. Welcome to the stream. What do you mean, my posture while I'm drawing? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I think I need to take off my hoodie. It's so warm in here. I hope I do not crash my camera setup. All right. So what I think about posture while I'm drawing, to be honest, I don't think about it. Because I do a lot of exercise, so I go a lot to the gym and I try to train my back as much as possible. And I know sitting a lot is not good, but running 3 times a week, going to the gym 4 times a week is more like compensating that. But I understand that sitting a lot is super, super unhealthy. So yes, posture while drawing is important, but I think exercising is even more important, because you can have a good posture and sitting is still bad for you. You know what I mean? So I need to don't strip naked here and show a nipple or something. because I know you get banned for this. Ugh. Ah. Okay. Oh. Wait. Jesus. But to tell you a fun story, when I had my first studio job, I had to crunch a lot, so I had to work over hours, which made me go into the gym in the morning. And the problem was that I got this pain in my lower back, but I thought it would be just kind of like tight, you know? So I got like this rubber ball where you lay down and you roll over it, thinking about it would make it better, but it was super painful. And then the pain got worse, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor just told me that I injured my back actually. And then I had this back injury for, I would say, probably 4 months almost, because I couldn't take sick leave because I wanted to perform. And then I switched jobs in even more crunchy work. And then I started to figure out, okay, what can I do while working? And I always try to put something under my desk to put up my feet in order to relax my lower back more. But that just does half of its way, you know? The other half is really exercising, running and everything. Because like the human body is not made for sitting or standing. It is made for moving or sleeping. But I do understand the issues of it. And I never had like a tennis arm or something from drawing too much, even though I would draw excessively. But I think it also is just because of like, before I started becoming an artist, I was going to the gym like 6 times a week, 7 times a week sometimes. So I would actually train a lot. And that was a good base, I guess. That answers your question. So, which part of a character do you enjoy drawing the most? Hey Robin, welcome to the stream. I guess face, hair, clothing, like folds. I started to really enjoy drawing folds and clothing because you can kind of like create this graphical read, you know, which is just so satisfying. If like the drawing of the character has like a very strong angle or something. But yeah, face I would say is probably number 1. And you? By the way, next stream will be a feedback stream. So for the people who've never been on a feedback stream, what we do is before the stream you need to post your work on the server, and everyone gets a certain amount of time and I go over the work of your choice. So basically I'm giving feedback on the stream. and I try to go through as much as possible work. There's no preference in traditional or digital, but of course the feedback I will give is in Photoshop because it's easier to do, right? But I thought like we haven't had a stream like this for a while, and we can actually have some like, yeah, some benefit of it. So that's also a great effect of, like, that's what I meant before of the brush pen. It's just creating this contrast, right? Like if the character has like a pattern on a cloth and you make it black, then it just gets so punchy. When Boris, I will make a Discord post before, so I will do a reminder on Discord. Noses are really satisfying. Ah, you're a nosy person. Ah, got you. Yeah, I do understand what you mean behind noses, I think. They're also so... They can be so... elegant. Of course, my friend Boris. I know you want it. I know you want it. Hey Jacob, how's it going? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How are you doing? Oh, there's a hair. So I think to really understand and master the brush pen, it has a lot to do with your decision making and how much you let everything go. Because I think like mistakes, especially when you don't do any pencil drawing, are just happening. And the question is really how flexible are you in covering them? And then, yeah, just deciding, do you shade with lines? Do you take like full, how you say, ink areas? I've been glad I can catch another live stream. I'm glad you're here too. How have you been? How have you been? So there's also something you can do, like when you feel like, okay, faces are comfortable, you start with faces. And then the next step is then doing like more of the upper body. And then you go even more and more and more, and then eventually come to full figure drawing. Really increase the difficulty step by step. And like no expectations, right? We don't want to have expectations to just kill the joy. Wait, I think I need to move in a bit. Okay. She looks a bit like she forgot to lock the door or... turn off the stove and... I really struggle sometimes with drawing base caps. I feel like I always mess up the proportion for the cap part in the front. Even though I think I understand the general proportion and stuff, it's just so easy to make this look odd and wrong. Hey Kevin, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. How are you? How's your day going? Sorry. Completely forgot about you folks. Apologize. It is good. I saw you were streaming live, so I had to sit in. That's awesome. Thank you. You're welcome here. Happy you're here. Are you drawing as well? How do you deal with impatience while drawing? How? Oh, my brain just freeze. How do you deal with impatience while learning how to draw? I find myself struggling with allowing myself to be bad at depicting accurate faces, which has really slowed my improvement, I think. That is a great question. I think impatience has also to do with expectation. Because the question is, why are you impatient? Right? What makes you impatient? What annoys you so much? What takes you too long that you get impatient? Because the question is, why do you not enjoy the actual process? So that could mean that you maybe think too much ahead. You think too much about the result. So that's also something I try not to do, but I'm also a sucker for it, I want to say. So my mind goes constantly in all directions because I'm constantly thinking about something. So I try to be as present as possible, and the more difficult my subject is, the more present I have to be. And I do understand the point of accurate faces because it takes time to get the patterns in. I think maybe changing also the speed on a conscious level is really good. So for example, let's say you feel you're impatient, right? Or you know you're impatient. Start with fast faces. So maybe try to draw a face in 60 seconds. Try to draw a face in 2 minutes. Try to draw a face then in 5 minutes, then in 10 minutes, then maybe in 30 minutes, right? You see where I try to come from? So that could help you to be aware about the speed you put in, but also lose a little bit the impatient in the process of learning. So I would say that is a good approach of doing it. What else? I mean, of course, a little bit your ego has to do with, we all have an artist ego, comes together with the weird expectation of us being Da Vinci and being amazing. So yeah, focus more on the task itself. And also, when you try to draw a face, like always tell yourself why you try to get better with drawing a face. What is the reason behind? Why do you want to capture essence? Do you want to be able to make nice faces when you see people on the street? Do you maybe want to get better in your illustrations when you do the preparation drawing? Like whatever it is, keep it in your mind. Keep it like remind yourself of what is your source of inspiration, you know? Because I did well on the eyes, not looking correct for nose and lips. Yeah, also when this is a reoccurring pattern, you can also just do like little like cutout drawings, you know, where you do like I call it the pizza slice. So it's basically the triangle of the face, and you just draw those type of pizza slices here, and then for example you place like the eyes here, then of course now we see this a bit more from below. So we focus basically only on the 3 parts here. And then you speed up the whole process of learning that because you just focus on everything inside of this triangle, you know, and then you just draw a bunch of these triangles. You can also do it inside, so you make a center line, you cut it in half, and then you kind of like, okay, this is my brow ridge, so here comes the eyebrow. Here comes my pupil. comes my nose. Okay. This is a super easy exercise I let my students do, especially when they have problems with proportional positioning and going through a lot of pizza slices. Okay, so I hope you love pizza. So just go through a lot of slices and try to do that. That it can be very effective. Your line strokes are so fluid and confident. Excellent line control. I need to work on my line work. Thank you, Kevin. I also want to say that that this is something like digital. I would say I would always have okay line work or decent line work. It would be one of my strong suit. But traditionally, absolutely not, because I would always draw pencil until like 2.5 years ago, when I completely took the pencil, threw them all out, and only drew with ink pens. And doing this ink pen drawings phase improved my line work so much, because always slows you down. You always need to be more accurate, and you know, like this is very, very important. You're welcome, Jacob. Hey, and if you have more questions, that's what's the stream for. So feel free to ask. You know. And also, yeah, I think also line work is just continuous practice. You know, it is like playing a specific sport which requires a lot of accuracy, or even if it's, I don't know, you play like an RTS or a shooter games. You know, do you know when you play a lot of shooter games and then you stop and then you come back to it, you have to get used to like fast aiming, pinpointing, angles, and all that. It's the same with line work. If you don't draw a lot of line work, you probably will like have a few steps backwards, you know. And also, I mean, Brushpen is like the gravity chamber, if you understand the Dragon Ball Z metaphor, because like Brushpen is like, if you heavy-handed like I am and you just press too much, you just have it like an ink blob, like I did here, for example. Like this thing here just came because I was like just a little bit pressing too much. Hey Davinishi, welcome to the stream. Bro, I love your videos. It helps me too much. I want to ask you, how can I manipulate forms like bending cylinders, etc.? Those always give me headaches. Center lining. So basically, instead of trying to bend a full cylinder, you know, like if you would try to draw, I don't know, like a noodle or a sausage or whatever, right? Instead of doing this, where you try to bend it full, focus on the center line, you know? So, like, for example, a cylinder is made out of a major and minor axis, right? And depending on where the angle is, you have that. And then instead of outside inside, focus inside outside. So basically focus on the center line and then draw your ellipses around it. You know, like you create a wireframe and then just connect the outside edge to it. And then this helps you to get a sense for what's actually happening. And yeah, any type of manipulation, it's technically very simple. It just requires practice, I would say. Just to do this, and it sounds like like an answer you maybe don't want to have, but I don't know. When I think about how to manipulate a box by just, I don't know, cutting off a corner and making a new form out of it. I mean, I just imagine it's like a piece of butter, you know, and I take a knife and I just kind of like cut through this whole thing with a knife. Choo-choo. And just slide through like a swordsman. Can you recommend a brush pen that's beginner friendly? No, budget friendly. I think, sorry, I don't remember how much this one cost. Because this is a brush sign pen. This one has a very fine tip. And I also want to say the finer you go in the beginning, the easier it is. Because the tip is much smaller. Those things here, these brushes, they can be really a pain in the ass. Because if you press too much ink flow, dry effect, and then you don't want it. But they're very cheap. Relatively cheap. Also, there's a Pentel brush pen for maybe just $3 or something. Yeah. You could have given the pencils to me. I mean, technically, Boris, I didn't throw them out of the window. They're still somewhere in my household. So I just don't use them anymore. It was a metaphor. But I appreciate the joke. So what I really love about the brush pen is doing stuff like this. Where you also maybe talking about patience and you just do this. It just gives it so much punchiness, you know? Yeah, I find the fine brush easier to use because I know that a lot of people, they more draw into smaller sketchbooks, you know? Like this, an A5, or, you know, like this, for example. This is a super small sketchbook. So if I would draw on this, and I would use a brush pen, then I would, like, it would be doable to control. But if I use the big brush, you know, and I just press a little bit too much, then it's way too easy to mess up the full page. So it gets super annoying. Have you seen the reaction from me to the PewDiePie video when he started to use ink in his sketchbooks? I feel like that's a good example because you can see, like, since he's a beginner and he doesn't have so much control about the line itself and he tried to progress too fast, he presses partially too much and then, like, every line gets so much thicker, you know? So, like, yeah, I think so. It's better to draw big with brush pen, and in order to not run into the trap of, like, drawing not big enough, you can take the fine small pens, you know, if that makes sense. Yes, and you can also refill those brushes. So you buy them in the beginning, but then you can refill the stuff. Hey Sam, welcome to the stream. If you could ask any artist, dead or alive, one question about their process mentality, anything you would oh, that is so good. That is such a good question, Sam. Wow, this is also super, super hard. So, you know, so I would actually not ask Kim Young-ji something because I literally binge watched every stream and video, everything he said. And I feel like I have a good sense for what type of person and artist he was. Then my other person would be Mobius. Oof. And for Mobius, what one question would I ask him? Because I feel like when I ask him a serious question, he would just, like, answer like something like, yeah, how do you overcome mental struggle in the creative process? And you would just say something like, just create, just draw. So I could imagine he would say something like this. But you know what? I would ask Mobius something about designing, because he was such an amazing, my personal opinion, such an amazing product production designer, like designing, and he was known for being super fast, right? And it's kind of interesting because I cannot believe that all his understanding for designing comes from his, that's how they sold it in all these videos, comes from having this experience with mushrooms in the desert and all that. I don't believe that 100%, you know, because this guy did cowboy comics for like decades, right? So, but he did all these sci-fi movies and all this work with Alejandro Jodorowsky. So how in the hell did he get so good in doing those transcendent designs, you know? I would ask him, how can I open up my mind for elusive and interesting designs in order to have a easier process in the creation, so I have an easier creation process. I think that was a long question, but that was, I would ask, I guess. And yes, he was his time ahead, like people still learning from him, you know. So Sam, thank you for the question. And I ask you this back, like what artist would you choose and what would you ask? You're welcome. Yeah, if you have more questions, ask. Again, that's what I'm here for. Hey, Sweet Cider, how are you doing? I saw your post on Discord. By the way, everyone seeing this stream and everyone joining the Discord, if you join and you cannot do anything in the beginning, I have to give you a role. This is kind of like to protect from bots and stuff. So sometimes I see it, sometimes I just see it on the next day. So just stay in the welcome zone and I will give you a role eventually. Yeah, just keep on practicing, Cider. Just keep on doing it. Oh, I have to get up. Okay. So maybe one more phase and then let's push up difficulty again. Hey Kostja, guten Abend. How are you doing? Wie geht es dir? Alles gut? Schön, dass du da bist. Wieso rede ich so komisch Deutsch? You speak too much English, probably. I would ask Craig Mullins how he makes his speed paintings, but I don't think I would understand it because he's too advanced. But Craig Mullins is still live, right? I didn't miss anything. Ah, yeah, you wrote that our live. Okay, okay. How he does his speed paintings? I think that's a really... Have you ever watched Craig Mullins tutorials? I don't know how's it for you, but I had difficulty to follow the essence of what he was saying. So he's amazing. He's really the god of speed painting. But I think his approach is so unique and his understanding is very special. I don't know if I could take anything out of it. I wish I would have asked Kim Young-ji about the role memory drawing. Had for his ability to drawing from imagination. Hey, practice drawing this. Welcome to the stream. What do you mean with the role memory drawing had? Like, you mean drawing something? Like, I think it had a huge role because I mean, the thing he said was when he was watching a movie or seeing something on the street, he would go home and try to draw it from his imagination, right? So I think it was really kind of like a practice of his memory. Have you ever had to take a break for a long period of time from burnout, work life, etc.? Yes, I did. Um, I mean, so in 2022, at the end, I was working in-house for 5 years in games, and I stopped because I had too much work there. Plus, my mentorship program got bigger and bigger, so I got more and more students. So I was working 100 hours per week, so I got super burned out. And also the whole production work was like way too much in like doing everything together. So that took really a toll on me. So I had to stop the production work, and I focused only on teaching. And that helped me like making a big step away from doing production work for a time, to just recuperate and ask myself, hey, like for years, I tried to achieve to become a concept artist and try to get into the industry and try to work on movies and try to work on games and all that. Now, after like, I don't know, 7 years in the industry, you're so close to it, you never stop and ask yourself, okay, hey, what do I actually like creating? Like, even though I did personal stuff, personal projects, I never stopped and asked myself, where do I want to be as an artist in the future, right? And whenever I saw someone like Mobius or Kim Young-ji or other comic book artists or traditional art, I was always fascinated by it, right? And I was always drawing traditional, but I never practiced like this here, right? Because I never had the time, because I had other plans. So that helped me to reflect and ask myself, hey, do I want to do digital art professionally for the rest of my life? Do I want to try something else? And that really helped me to take a step back from it. And what I also learned of being my own boss is that I operate different than 9 to 5. So 9 to 5 is not my thing. But I'm lucky that I'm a type of person, I'm always productive on the long run. So I maybe do not work 10 hours every day anymore, but I try to be as efficient as possible. So that really helps me to also, whenever I don't feel like drawing, I just stop. And I don't draw for maybe 1 day, 2 days, sometimes even more. But I believe and I know the urge and the ick of, or the itching, not the ick, the itching of me wanting to be creative, to draw, because this is my outlet, this is my therapy or whatever you call it. It always comes back. So I just believe and trust. So knowing this makes me be more relaxed and just letting go. So best advice I can give: whenever you feel burned out or you don't feel like drawing, stop drawing, stop creating, do everything else. Try to just follow the flow and enjoy it, and it will come back. Everything is all right. Cool. Once I can do full body characters, I start learning adding textures to them. Okay. Do you have any specific drawing routine? I do. I also have a bunch of videos on the channel, of course, but right now at the moment, I make still a page a day, so like a full page, so to speak. And I always start easy, so I do like doodles, or I don't know, I do like stuff which is kind of like just from imagination, very simple, until I get warm, and then I try to study, I try to be more sophisticated and push more. And my only goal for every day is 1 hour of drawing. And I always over exceed it. I always draw more, of course. Yesterday I drew 7 hours or something, but I loved it. So don't tell my manager. But yeah, I drew for 7 hours. I was so sucked in, and whenever this happens, I just let it go, because I know it's a curve, and next week on the same time, I'll probably maybe don't want to draw 7 hours. I just draw an hour. So I have sometimes these creative rushes coming in, you know? And then I kind of like study what I want to study. I also do a lot of designs on the side at the moment, like in Photoshop. So I just do traditional for an hour, and then I jump into Photoshop. Then I have maybe 1 or 2 students a day. And whenever I have the mentorship sessions, it's interesting because they kind of like fuel me also. Like I don't steal their designs or ideas, but it's so inspiring to see them to work really hard, you know, and doing this digital stuff. And I have to draw over it, I have to paint over it. So that it's kind of like makes me going into being creative digital, and then I also do digital stuff. Have you ever tried negative space drawing? I feel like you would make some awesome art pieces like that. Yeah, I tried that, Jacob. I tried. Have you tried it? I love drawing when I was a kid. When I was growing up, life happens, but I'm back into last year. I'm 50s. Been doing a lot of life reflecting and regret when AI stopped. And I regret it when AI stopped. I mean, first of all, AI shouldn't do any effect on you, of course, right? Because you're creating because you want to create, and like something like AI shouldn't be any factor in your life. I highly respect that you do what you love in your 50s, and you always do that, and you always should do it. And you have 20 more years of life experience than I have, but I'm pretty sure when you love drawing as a kid, you still love it, and you just should do it, you know, because you maybe don't have like the perfect understanding or reason or whatever, but you don't need to. All you need to understand is you love creating, you know. So talking about creating, I should get drawing a little bit more here. Okay, so I have an idea for her here. Maybe I can do it here. So now it's the big problem. It's the story of my life is the sweaty hand. Probably have to put some paper here. You regretted stop drawing. Okay, now I understand. Makes more sense. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand, but you know, like, I also regretted a few things in my life, and at the end they're all experience, and what can we do with it, right? Like, we can't do much with that. It's just the way it is. You wouldn't be the person that you are today without those experiences, right? So, because sometimes I regret that I didn't switched, because like when I was younger, I told the story many times, I played American football here in Germany, and I started very young actually, when I was 10, and I always had the urge to get better and to play in a better team, because I played like in a very low league team, but I didn't want to neglect my friends. But I had the thought of leaving the team and going to a bigger team very often. And eventually when I was 17, so pretty late, I changed teams, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because then I won national champion, I won European champion, and I also got to the States trying to get into college and all that. So it was a huge life change for me. But when I tried to get a scholarship for college in the States, I just wasn't good enough. And one of my coaches in Germany said once to me, you just should have come earlier to us, you know? And since he said it, I regretted that I did not, that I hesitated for so long. But let's say if I wouldn't, right? Then maybe I wouldn't be an artist today. And as you can see, it's pure joy, and I cannot think about a life without art. So, what's the morale of the story? Regrets bring you nothing, and all the choices. Everyone, like, we can't. That's also a thing I don't like about this TikTok thing, when people start to rant about things on TikTok and social media. Like, so many people are judging about other people and their choices in life. At the end, everyone has to live with the choices they do in their life, right? So, like, why should we judge that unless it does not affect us? Of course, if it affects you or a beloved person, maybe it's different. But other than that, if someone decides to quit their 9 to 5 and start to become a professional dancer or whatever, why would you judge? You know, like, this person lives with this decision, and if the person loves that decision and is happy about it, yeah, why not? They need to live their life. You don't need to live their life. So yeah, I just try not to. Also, a great exercise to practice from imagination is basically drawing a face from reference one and then trying to turn the face. And if that's too hard, of course, just redrawing the same thing again can be also nice. But if you're more advanced, you can definitely try this out. Oh no. I did it too close. Now the eyebrow's gone. Okay. Happens. So then I'm going to darken the hair as well. See, those are these mistakes I'm talking about. Maybe we can hide it a bit. There's also a cool exercise is to draw something from reference, like maybe like a portrait or face or whatever, and take a random component and try to combine them with each other. So could be an animal, could be an object, right? So like, I don't know if it's a smartphone, thinking about, okay, what can I do with the smartphone? Is she holding the smartphone? Does she has an antenna on her head? You know, like, do I want to draw an animal on her head sitting? You know, like adding a story element. As little as that can get a feeling for application. Because that's what happens in your head, is whenever you think about something, you apply things to things. Hey, Kevin, don't fall asleep. Wake up, Kevin. Yeah, but I'm also like, I understand, like, sometimes I can be a bit too monotone. Sorry. Yeah, patience is just in learning everything. Like, I started to play golf 1.5 years ago. It's so hard, and again, like, relearning something is cool, but I have no patience because it's so hard, and every time I try, I think I understand something, I did not, and I have to do it again, and you have to learn more. So patience is really like something you need to have. But again, I think it's really like trying not to focusing on the goal, more like the actual thing. Yeah. Damn it, I just made this too dark. Anyways. Let's give her an earring maybe. Maybe there's a little frog and he sees a fly on top. Whatever. Oh yeah, golf is kind of like drawing. You can have really bad stroke games. Yeah, absolutely. Also, when you play with your friends, and when we started, I was actually like always winning, and now my friends got so good. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. But actually, I should appreciate more the fact that we are playing together, you know? Like, again, it's the ego. Ego or competitive spirit? I mean, yeah, I don't know how you want to sell it. Something of it. Your chores? What are your chores, Kevin? You make me curious. Your chores. But yeah, awesome. Do that. Reward yourself with drawing. Hey Marco, welcome to the stream. Beautiful and simple. Appreciate you being here. How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, let me actually draw maybe another quick full figure in here. I feel like I kind of like want to challenge myself, but I don't want to make it too hard. Because it's also already... Leon, you were learning Korean before, right? Oh, now Sam. Yes, I'm learning Korean. I mean, now it's paused at the moment, but I learned it for half a year. Oh, it's very small. 한국어 있어요. So you're asking if my Korean is good? Is that the question? 한국어 있어요. I understand half of the sentence, but I have to see what this is. Do you mean if I still learn Korean? Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah, immer noch. Ah, yeah, still, yeah. Okay, I didn't know the word for still. Yeah. It's like a continuous action. Like ing in English. Okay, interesting. I didn't know. No, so our course was ending, so we had Korean class every week. And our course was ending before Easter, so in April. And I decided to stop with the course because of many different reasons. Because first of all, I need a break, and doing homework every week was kind of like an extra thing. And sometimes I caught myself not doing the homework, or just always in priority putting it down, which was a bit unfortunate because like it, of course, if you decide to learn something, you should do it full force. So I just decided to take a break now. And then also we were learning in a group with a teacher who was teaching this online for the first time, and she was doing a good job, but sometimes I felt I was missing a lot through the lack of structure, because like the teacher was always kind of like giving us like extra information, extra notes, but I need very clear instructions, and that's not an excuse, right? But it was a combination, you know, so I stopped for now, and my goal is actually to continuous learning in September, probably, or maybe August even, so when I have more time for it. You help with cleaning the house with my wife. I'm cleaning the bathroom. You're a good one, Kevin. I'm drawing to your stream right now. That is awesome. Hey, can you tell me how I pronounce your name? Oyin Bobola? Where you from? Faboyode. Faboyode? Oyin Bobola Faboyode. Okay. Is it from... Are you from... I don't know. I don't want to insult you. Maybe Nigeria or something? Sounds a bit Nigerian. What was the reason for starting it in the beginning? So the reason was because actually my good friend Liam, who is Korean, we got like really good friends, and when I visit Korea the last time for my business trip, I was like, hey, I actually really want to be able to talk to people. This is something that really annoys me, you know, because like Koreans, they speak English, but you always feel disconnected if you do not speak Korean. And since we are going to Korea every year, I just felt the urge to learn the language, and I always want to start with an Asian language, and then all made sense. And it's actually really fun. I really enjoy understanding and now saying "잘 you know, like how are you doing, and really having a little bit of a conversation, even like a little bit. But I did not expect that I would have such a big problem with pronunciation, and that it's so different, you know. So yeah, but that was the reason, to basically be able to talk to my friend, and like also to talk all the other people I've met there in Korea. Like we always had to translate in a way, and I'm a very vocal person, I would say, so I was very motivated by this. Oh, I have to. Oh wow. Janusz is so social, he might die from sadness if you leave him alone. You maybe do not think, but I'm actually not that social. But I think I adapt pretty well to a lot of people. So I think I can handle talking to a lot of people very well. And I don't have a problem to being on a stage. I don't have a problem to present. I have no problem with this. But I enjoy my time, my quiet time. And when I was a kid, even though I had siblings, my siblings were like 7 and 10 years older. So, and my parents were both entrepreneurs, so they always had to work. And I had a dog, and me and my dog, we were like the duo, but I was alone a lot actually as a kid. And that's why I think that's why I enjoy being alone so much, and that's why I have no problem with being alone actually. Yeah, I also think like if I would be in Korea, it would be way easier to learn the language and to apply it every day, you know, because you really need to speak the language every day, you know. And yeah, and if you have like people next to you and you talk to them and stuff, then it's way easier to get it in. Okay, let's draw a figure from reference for the last. Hi, you're back. Ich lerne seit 9 Monaten Deutsch, aber es ist so schwer. Wow, you speak perfect German, and German is so hard. 100%. I think I would rather learn Korean than German. Sorry that I'm laughing, but yeah, German makes no sense. It's so many areas. So, for example, my most favorite example when it comes to German, and that's the last thing I'm saying, and then I will draw, is umfahren and umfahren. So it's the same word, which means either way to drive around something or to drive over someone. But it has like two different meanings, but it's the same word. And I know in other languages it's kind of like the same, but there's so many things that make not much sense, you know. It's the same thing as articles, you know. So in English they say the to everything, right? The truck, the apple, the lady, the man. But we have der, die, das, den, and more. So what the hell, yeah. Pretty much. Where are you from, Sam? So you also speak Korean, I guess? Or was this made by ChatGPT? Same in Chinese, the word 4 means the number 4 and also death. Oh, you live in Seoul for 5 years. That's crazy. How's living in Seoul? Which area in Seoul do you live? If I may ask. And what brings you to Seoul? Work, study? Oh, I miss so much food in Seoul. And for me, like the people, they were always so nice, so kind. Just enjoy being there. I only have good experience going to Seoul. So when any of you think about going there, just do it. Such a modern city, so so easy to access, so much availability also for English speaking. Everything is translated. Everything is so like modern also. Things that we don't have in Germany. Also, accessibility of toilets. Like, I don't get it why we're so behind here in Europe with simple stuff like toilets. Makes no sense. Like, just clean public toilets and accessibility. In every subway station in Korea, there's a toilet. You never need to worry to not be able to go on a toilet. Here, when you're outside, it's always stress. Which studio did I work for? I worked for a studio called Woodblock TV. They make commercials for clients like Adidas, Intel, Nike, car companies, Nickelodeon, all like this stuff, like, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that. I worked for a game company called Vuga. They do mostly mobile games. I did a bunch of freelance stuff. Also worked on animation movies that got also acquired by Netflix. What else? Yeah. So a little bit. Personal life was 10 out of 10. Work life was 1 out of 10. Oh no, why? Right before COVID hit, I got a teaching job there and stayed because I liked it so much. Did you taught English? Thanks. I think it's just I don't know if it's so much actually, because in the game company, in the studio, I stayed there for the majority of the time, and I think I stayed there for almost 5 years. So, but I actually did a lot in the first 2 years. Also, the time before because like for me, my professional time started, I would say, by the end of 2017, when I got really a professional. But before that, while I was studying, I was already working as a working student in the studio. So I was already doing kind of like client work in a way. I don't know if that counts, but I mean, it also, like, there's still some things I would like to work on, to be honest. There's also some studios I would like to work for. But also the way I'm working at the moment, where I have my time to teach and I have my time to do my like artist specific work, like here, is also a privilege that I worked for. and I would love to go into studio work, but I would take less students, I think. Ah, okay. But you left now, so you back in the UK then? But I mean, at least it's a great life experience, right? And you speak another language, so it sounds like a really big experience. But why do you learn German now? So this is what I meant before with the graphical read of things. Let's neglect the legs. I don't know what's happening here. I feel like this curve here got a bit too much outside. But that's what I meant with the graphical read that can happen with clothing. Something I really do enjoy. Because then, like, it's kind of like this angle that helps me to remember whenever I draw this from imagination again. You know, when there's this pose where this arm is tucked into a pocket, and I can imagine, okay, there's kind of like this straight line, and it continues downwards. So let me make the socks longer, and I hope that is a bit better. No, not really. Anyways. All right. English. Is there a way I can get a coupon for the mentorship program? There is actually right now at the moment a huge new starter discount, which is not happening very often, because usually the basic program is $3.99, right, which is a lot of money, of course. But right now you have the chance to save $100 and only pay $2.99, which is actually a price we had years ago for new joiners, for your first month, if you use code SUMMER. So if you use it, you can get $100 off, which is big for new joiners. And it's limited because it's in the beginning it was only for, yeah, Boris remembers because Boris was still here. So it was limited for 10 people and there's only a few spots left on it, on this code, because I cannot, like I said before, I can only take a certain amount of people. So yeah. So that is definitely what I can offer you right now. Yeah, and otherwise, like for the future, always keep your eye on our newsletter. So if you on the website written down in the corner there, and you sign up, and whenever I send out an email and I put a code in there or something, yeah, then keep eyes open on it. But yeah, I have a few more spots open at the moment. So while we're talking about it, if anyone is interested, feel free to go on www.janusz-art.zone. And if you're unsure about what you should get in and like just in general, we have this intro. We have this intro chat thing where you can just fill out the application form. Let me know a little bit about your background, how much time you spend, etc., etc. So it's a bit easier to figure out how I can help you. Ah yeah, I see 2 people were joining. I already assigned roles to it. Welcome to the server. Yeah, other than that, I do really get hungry right now because I didn't have dinner and it's almost 1 o'clock here in Germany. And at least I drew my page here for today. So that's like how a practice page would look, in a way. So sometimes less, sometimes more, really depends. And you see, like, not everything is perfect, but it's more important that you just do it and that you have fun and that you continue drawing, challenging yourself, and celebrate, really important, celebrate every little thing that you do good. To have fun with it is really, really important. Okay. Any more questions from anyone? The intro is on Discord. Sorry, not on Discord. It's on the website. So you go on the website. Under Art Mentorship, and there's a tab which is called Intro Chat. Wait, can I actually show this here? Window capture, I guess. Ah, yeah. What? That's the website, right? And then you just go here under Art Mentorship and Intro Chat. And if you go in here, you just fill out the form and you type in what's your background, what is your goal. Very important when you want to reach that goal. So I get a feeling for what is your expectation in terms of like amount of work we have to put in, how much time you put in. And also very, very important, how much time do you spend per day drawing and painting? The mentorship is also possible for traditional or digital. Also a question often asked very often. So it's possible, absolutely. And yeah, and we have multiple programs, of course. The basic is kind of like 10 to 20 hours, but also depends, like when you say like I only have 5 hours per week, we can always adapt things, of course. Then we have intensive, where we have like 2 calls per month. And if you look at the price, it technically gets cheaper the bigger the program you use. So you save, I think, $100 in total if you, for example, go for intensive and so on and so on. Yep, that's about it. Let me turn this off. For digital art, do you use Clip Studio or Photoshop? I use Photoshop. I use Photoshop since I've started. And I know it has its ups and downs, but yeah. Okay. The thing is, always when I enter stream, after I ended, I remember, I should have said this or said that. But I don't know what else to say. So I want to say thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you all being here. I hope I could make some of you draw, maybe. Then I'm already happy. Yeah. I appreciate the time. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Take care. Have fun drawing. Always focus on creating. And don't focus on the end goal. And yeah. I appreciate you all and have a good day. Take care. Bye bye. And maybe see you next time. And remember, next time we do the feedback stream, right? So watch out for the Discord. Because we're going to do feedback, critics, stuff on stream.